How was the Sheffield show for you, sir?
It was great, and I'm going to tell you a little story about Sheffield. My first time, the first time I've had an opportunity to spend time in Sheffield, and I discovered Steam Yard Coffee, and if you're not familiar with it, the most amazing latte I've had in my entire life, so I dream about it often. So there's a little insight into my Sheffield experience.
Whereabouts is that then?
So if you walk, I don't know the details. If you walk towards the university area from the corporation venue, you'll find it tucked away in one of the little kind of like a pedestrian retail type of neighborhood. You'll be able to find it if you're familiar with the area. But that's my Sheffield story.
I've been there since about what? Been there since 1974. We're going to corporation since it's first opened, so I know what years.
I'm a bit of a coffee addict, so that's how I.
Which leads me on to a question I could talk about now.
Okay.
Ellison Coffee. You guys have got a slave to grind.
That is correct. Yes. Yeah. It was actually we were approached by the Ellison Coffee Company about doing that, and it kind of just made sense. We all love number one. We love what they are doing over there. And it kind of made sense, and then it was presented to us as Slave to the Grind. The name speaks for itself, right? We kind of just, we love the idea, and it was a no-brainer for us. So for all of you coffee addicts out there, it's definitely something to look for.
How is the coffee, by the way?
It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Yeah, we had a chance to, back in January of this year, we all tried some for the first time. And since then, obviously, we drink plenty of coffee between now and last January, so it's good.
Sweet. Were you in Nam then?
We were, yes.
Yeah, it was a good do, that wasn't it?
It was,
I was there some a few times and tried and bought some, and when the girls were giving the free samples away, it was great. I'll buy it.
It's amazing. I've never gone to the same booth that many times at a NAMM convention, but if you're giving away coffee, you're going to see me every half hour on the.
Exactly. Yeah. What's it mean to play Stonedeaf for the first time? It's the first time it's ever happened. So what's it?
Right. It's always exciting when you're part of something that's new. But I will tell you, when we woke up here this morning at the fairgrounds and we've got the bus parked out back and nobody really knows what to expect when you step off the bus. It's the perfect day for something like this, and everybody has been so wonderful. The people that we've spoken to, not only the people that are involved with the festival, but the people who are coming, everybody's just so excited. It's wonderful. There's really a sense of community, more so than a lot of events that we come across. Yeah, and
I noticed that this group. That as soon as we got here, you go there, there's your passes. There was no politics.
Yeah,
we've not got that. But we go to this. It was all worked out. It was great.
It's wonderful to play these events, but again, when you really sense that feeling of camaraderie and when the volunteers pull together, but it's really just that sense of community. You feel like you're playing a party in the town square, and we love that vibe for sure.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So tell me about the Sheffield. That was amazing. It's packed out, that show. The first time was ZP and
correct. Well, thank you. We enjoyed it. We enjoyed it for sure.
Yeah. Excellent.
Yeah.
Good venue?
Yes. Yeah, very much so. We enjoyed everything about the experience was amazing.
So you come back to see us then? Play.
We are hoping to come back sooner than later. I don't have all the details yet, but I know that we are working on some more UK dates for next year. I'm typically the last to know, I'll be honest with you.
I just said to Mark, what are you bringing them back to?
Yeah, we as quickly as we can is the best I can tell you. Cool. And again, we are working on some UK dates for next year. Yeah. So.
And what a band Bad Touch are as well.
Yes, they were great.
You're still on tour with them, aren't you? So you've just been doing tours?
Yeah, they were great. Toastland was on the bill with us as well back in March, and another wonderful band. We love when we put those bills together, and you go out and you have these support bands and number one, it's a hometown gig for some of these guys. I believe the Toastland guys, Sheffield is a hometown gig for a lot of those guys, or that area, that general area. But they're amazing bands as well, and it really just elevates everybody's game and their enthusiasm. And we're all fans of music, and we're all fans of the guys who go out and do these types of things. And I love nothing more than to sit for a couple of hours before the gig and watch these guys tear it up night after night. And you mentioned Bad Touch. Great band, great songs, and we love playing with them.
Awesome.
Yeah.
How does this area compare to where you're from? Is it more enthusiastic, or are we about the same here?
In terms of
audience draw and enthusiasm from the audience.
That's an interesting question. It is different from region. I say region to region,
Yeah.
but the United States, it's a different culture. We do a lot of different types of gigs in the States. We do a lot of large events like these. We do smaller club shows. We do everything from mid-sized theaters to everything. Everything in between. We have the benefit of being able to package shows with a lot of bands that are from a similar, the same era, the same genre that we're from. So we have the benefit of being able to package these shows together. We go out. We do a lot of what's called fly dates, so we'll do a lot of weekend gigs. We typically leave home on a Thursday morning. We'll go out with a band like Queensryche or somebody of that from the same genre, the same era. We'll go out, knock out a few shows on a weekend. You're home by Sunday afternoon, and we love it. It's great, and to be able to do that this many years into the band's history is something that we're very grateful for. When we come over here, obviously, if you're coming over, if you're traveling a great distance, you want to play more than just a few shows. When we come over here, we love being over here for a handful of weeks at a time and playing, and the loyalty that the UK has had to this band throughout so many years, and even prior to my time with the band.
I saw Skid Row back in when they played Wembley Stadium with the 9 Inch Nails with Guns N' Roses.
Right.
Scotland.
Yeah, it's different in a lot of ways, but in a lot of ways it's the same. And we definitely, with the UK specifically, it's the loyalty to the band's history. We love that, and it's not lost on us, and all of us individually, and myself included, not being an original member. I was a fan along with everybody else in those early days, and I feel like I'm amongst friends when I come here, if that makes sense. So it's fun. We enjoy that.
So when you were going back, we might be asked this a few times, but like, when you've been, say, a fan of Skid Row and then being a member of Skid Row, how does that make you feel to like go from there to there?
It's amazing. It's really, as a young musician and somebody who is inspired by a band like this, obviously that was the goal, but until the moment I found myself actually in the drum chair and on stage playing some of these songs, it's amazing. It's something that I'm extremely grateful for the opportunity to do. Yeah. I'm extremely grateful to these guys for giving me the opportunity to do it. And I feel like I've worked hard and I feel like I've earned it, but I also know the reality of this business, and I know there are a ton of talented musicians out there and a ton of guys or girls who have worked every bit as hard as I have. And for whatever reason, I was able to dig up an opportunity. Yeah, and it's just something that I'm just extremely grateful for, and the fact that to go one step further, the fact that we're all so close, it's like a family unit. In addition to the time on stage, for me personally, I'm grateful, and I really feel like I'm a part of something special.
Yeah, I guess like last time you worked like a slave to the grind to get that gig, didn't you? And you got it, and you were so thankful, Bill.
That's exactly it. Yeah, and as I said, you work so hard for years and years and years, and you never really know what's down the road for you. And there's a saying in the music business that you're always kind of auditioning, whether you realize it or not. Yeah. And that's kind of the goal, is to go out and work hard and leave people with a good impression of you. But then to connect with people on a personal level as well is something very special to me.
Yeah, because sometimes it's said you're always as good as your last gig, but Skid Row's got a big reputation for the last 20-odd years, and, it speaks for itself, doesn't it, really?
Well, thank you. We appreciate that.
Yeah. So about your current endorsements, have you endorsed any new drum stuff, like cymbals, drums, or cymbals?
Yeah, I have a handful of companies that I've been proudly endorsing for years. Pearl drums, Sabian cymbals, Vader drumsticks, Aquarian drum heads. One of my newer relationships that I'm very, very excited about is actually a UK-based company called Porter & Davies. And for you drummers out there, you're probably familiar with their product, but it's a new development in drum monitoring. So it's a throne that has the ability to monitor low-end frequencies, and the way they've approached that product it's amazing. I can't say enough good things about those guys and what they're doing over there. And they've been great to work with as well. So
basically type of drums that nothing gets lost in the mix, not how loud it is and what's happening.
That's exactly. Yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, and you feel. I mean, talk about feeling connected to your kick drum, and I have the ability to mix in a little bit of bass as well. So that low end frequency. In a lot of rooms, you oftentimes feel yourself just wanting to feel it a little bit more, and that sounds like a strange word. You can hear it fine, but you want to feel it, and this product does exactly that.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
What sort of songs do you like? Do there certain songs that stand out to you when you really look forward to playing in the set?
Yes.
And why?
Yeah, well, that's a good question. Slave to the Grind, for me, drum-wise, I think that one, I've said this to people in the past, it's like lightning in a bottle. Just the energy of that song is just, it's hard not to be excited when that one comes up on the set list. Without giving away too many surprises, there's I say the obvious choices, but maybe a song like 18 in Life, when you hear the audience react to something like that, it's really hard not to feed off that. So those are, a song like that is an example of a song that I really look forward to. I have a couple surprises in the set tonight. So
we've got a few different ones from what we saw at Sheffield then?
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
And new ones? A new material coming out?
We are working on new material. We are not we're not progressing as quickly as we'd like to, but it's because we've been so busy touring.
I noticed on your dates, it's like, these guys get a bit. I think when you finish this day, you've got you've got about a week or two off, haven't you?
That's right.
What sort of stuff do you do in between that?
That's a good question. So, myself personally, I live in Atlanta, Georgia, which is in the southeastern part of the United States. So I'll have the opportunity to go home for about 10 days. I spend time with my wife and my daughter and catch up on some things around home. And, I love playing drums. I do play in various projects in and around Atlanta with friends of mine, guys that I've known for years and years and years. And I do love playing drums. When we're as busy as we are touring, to be honest with you, I'm pretty quiet when I'm off the road. People would be disappointed. I don't really have any glamorous stories of life at home. So.
I guess it's nice to just when you work at office like I do sometimes, and you've got a massive big crowd in front of you. It's nice to get away and just shut off and just you and the wife and the kids.
That's exactly it. Yeah, and connect with friends and that sense of being at home is something that's important to all of us at this stage of our lives. Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah, so first time I saw you, it was at the Cape Coral Legends of Rock in 2012.
Yeah, that's right.
It was a great show. It was loud as fuck.
So, refresh my memory. Was Great White?
They were, yeah.
Great White, and who else?
Yeah,
that's correct.
And
with Terry.
Ross was on. There was
somebody I'm forgetting, but you'll.
God, who was it? I'll go away and I'll remember who it is.
That's exactly, yes. Yeah. I do remember the show, and that was. I've forgotten how many years ago that was, but
it's 2012.
2012. Okay.
Yeah, it was my buddy Jim Kelly that put it on.
Oh, okay. No kidding.
Yeah.
No kidding.
I stopped with Jim I've known him years. He's a good guy.
Yeah.
So I've known him a long time.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about doing a solo career? Have you thought about anything like that? Not just that, even though like a drum tech, like a drumming intuition.
You know what? That's an interesting question because as a drummer. If you were to have asked me this question about a year and a half ago, I would have said no, absolutely not. However, I would love to mention a drummer who is a good friend of mine and an amazing drummer, a drummer by the name of Bevan Davies.
Right.
And he's been involved in some significant projects throughout the years. He played in Jerry Cantrell's band for a number of years, and he was in a band called Static X for a long time, and he's kind of bounced around and done a lot of things. And he took it upon himself a few years back to, as a labor of love, he released an album of cover songs. But what he wanted to do was cover songs from artists and drummers that really inspired him when he was cutting his teeth and growing up and playing. And not only did he do such a phenomenal job playing wise, I mean, the guy is he's out of this world as far as his talent and his ability. But watching him kind of go through that process and then hearing the end result kind of made me think that at some point I would like to do something like that, but I wouldn't go so far as to call it a solo project. if that makes any sense. But when I see a project like that, he's done such a great job with it, it's hard not to be inspired.
Nice.
Yeah.
So I guess after you might think, oh, I'll do other stuff like that as well, because I enjoyed it. And
Yeah.
what about like drum intuition videos? You ever thought about doing that sort of stuff?
I do think about it from time to time.
Yeah.
I still consider myself a student of the instrument, if that makes any sense. But yes, I do think about that.
Yeah.
I have not gotten to the point where I pulled the trigger as of yet, so stay tuned. You never know.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Yeah. How much you're not a new boy, man. You've been in quite a few years, but how much of input do you personally get to like put ideas and stuff? Is it more like the main guys, or do you get to put input? And what's input you get to put into it?
It's a combination of the two scenarios that you mentioned. So there are core members of the band, but one of the things that I love about being in this organization is everybody's input is welcome, and best idea wins. And there's not a whole lot when we're in the creative process. It typically starts with Snake and Rachel. And Scotty has contributed so many great songs or parts or ideas throughout the years. But everybody's input is welcome, and we'll talk about it. And again, the best idea wins. It's not a situation where anybody is looking to mandate how this is going to go, and we're not about the names and on the legal, on all the paperwork and things like that. We're really about it is, yeah, and it's stuff that unfortunately you have to address at some point. But it's with us, it's not an issue. It's really just it's a collective effort. Best idea wins. We try to be one of those bands that really collects input from everybody. And I heard Dave Grohl in an interview years ago kind of describe that situation, and he talks about guys getting in a room in his band, and everybody kind of grabs their corner of the song and pulls it a little bit in their direction, and ultimately it just makes it a little bit bigger. And I really liked the way that he put it into words, and it's very much like that with this band.
Yeah. So, if you could pick certain songs that you've had a certain input on, and what would it be, and what was the input that you put into that song that you're proud of?
Okay, that's a good question, and I would have to say off of the last EP, which is United World Rebellion Chapter 2, the song We Are the Damned. If anybody's familiar with that song, or if you go back and listen to that song, there's a middle section that has kind of like a bit of a drum break, kind of a 4-bar drum break that kind of plays in between the guitar line. And that is something that I really just kind of saw a moment, and I went home in my basement in my drum room and worked on a few ideas and kind of got them to where I was ready to go back into a rehearsal situation. And it was fun. I was really proud of the way that came together, and watching the guys in the room. When you play something and you get the smile from one of the guys or something, you just have that sense of pride about I put some thought into it, and some things reveal themselves and it seems very natural and it seems very easy, and other things you have to go home and you have to kind of marinate in these ideas for a while. So that's a moment that I'm exceptionally proud of.
Sweet.
Yeah.
That's great. Overall, in your career so far, what are you most proud of and why? I know it's not over yet,
Yeah. There's been a few moments along the way. I can probably tell you, and this sounds, maybe it sounds cliche, I don't know, but the day I got the call and said, and these guys, a band that I've been a fan of for so long, when you have that phone call and there's 4 guys on a conference call and they tell you that if you want the gig, it's yours. You know what? I would think I was a little stunned to react in the moment, but now I look back on it now, and it was obviously just such a huge moment in my life and something that I'm extremely proud of. There's been a few shows along the way. Late in 2010, the band played a show in Moscow. We were able to fly from the United States to Russia, and what I did not realize at the time, and looking back on it, I'm glad I didn't know this at the time, but this was the band's first time returning to Russia since the massive and now famous Moscow Music Peace Festival.
Amazing, actually.
It was, yeah.
On the radio when it came out, it's like...
As a kid and as a fan, we all saw all the footage of that, and we saw there was so much press and so much. I mean, it was world news for so long. This particular event for so many reasons, and being a huge fan of the band, going back to Russia for the first time since that happened and being a part of it, I felt in a very small way. I felt like I was a part of the storyline. There was a lot of media hype surrounding the band's return this many years later. And again, even to just be a small blip on the radar of that story was something that I was extremely proud of, because it was such a big moment in my memories of being a young music fan. So that's something that I always carry with me as a special memory.
Sweet.
Yeah.
And I've got to say, haven't we been blessed with incredible weather?
We couldn't ask for a better day, right? It's gonna be great. It's gonna be great. And there's no rain in the forecast whatsoever. So it's gonna be great.
I was in Sheffield and I thought, I checked the weather and thought, we got rain last night.
Right.
Fine today, clouds, rain tomorrow, so we picked it. So
it's going to be perfect.
We got lucky.
Yes, we did.
Yeah.
Yes, we did.
Anything you'd like to add that I've missed out so far?
You know what? No, it's been great. Thank you to you and for everybody here at Stonedeaf. We're really, really looking forward to the show tonight, and I just can't say enough good things about everybody here, and we appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. Looking forward to the show.
Definitely.